How's it going, everybody? This is DoomKid. Today I'm here to show you how to create vanilla compatible gameplay mods for Doom. These can run in any port, including the old DOS executables. So first what you need to download here is WhackEd 4 and then DeHackEd 3.1. I'll have links to both of these in the description. And these basically are just programs that allow you to start modding. So once you have both of those downloaded, you run WhackEd 4 and click New File. Now if you want it to be vanilla compatible, you need to click Ultimate Doom 1.9. Even though it says Ultimate Doom, this can create patches for Ultimate Doom, Doom 2, and both Final Dooms. The other ones you can use if you want to use a more advanced source port, but for the sake of vanilla compatibility, I'd click Ultimate Doom 1.9. And then you can just add your IWAD, which for me will be just a clean copy of Doom 2 here. And PWAD is where you'd call your custom sprites or your custom sounds from, but since we don't have any custom sprites or sounds yet, we'll just go in like this. So you're brought to this blank window here, and you have things, states, sounds, strings, weapons, ammo, cheats, and miscellaneous. Part-times is grayed out, so we can't edit that. So basically what you can do here is look at the things, which these are actually every object in the game. So you can see they've got the zombie man, the shotgunner, the archvile. It's not just the enemies, but they also have all the weapon objects, the item objects, the decorations, and different things like that. And you can modify all the different things about them all with this window here. So for an example, I'll just go ahead and select the trooper, which is also known as the zombie man. You can see here he's got a health of 20, a speed of 8, a radius of 20, a height. These are all pretty self-explanatory. Mass is basically his weight. A pain chance is how likely he is to actually make his pain animation when you shoot him. So you'll see an archvile has a much lower pain chance of 10. So if the archvile won't get stunned by the chain gun is basically what the pain chance refers to. And the lower it is, the less likely they are to get stunned. These are the sounds he makes here. So that's how you edit different things. You can change all these values. The states window actually shows you all the different frames of animation and what they do. So you can see here we've got the punch animations. That's where it starts. And you can actually see it lowers, raises, and on this frame right here, the punch action is called. Now a thing about vanilla Doom modding is every frame that doesn't have an action can never have an action. I can't make all of these punch. I can't make each one of these just this one frame. But any frame that does have an action, it can be changed. So for a weapon, let's say I want to make my fist shoot the pistol. I can go ahead and change that to be fire pistol. And so now, whenever I punch the fist, it'll fire a pistol. So we'll just go ahead and save this one here. I guess we'll call it test, which is easy enough, .deh. So now we have it in our states window where our fist fires a pistol. The sounds you don't really need to worry about too much. If you want to make custom sounds for Doom, the best way to do that is by actually adding custom WAV files in using Slade or XWE, so we'll go ahead and ignore sounds. Strings is more important. Here it has things like the intermission text. If you want custom intermission text, you can enter it here, but you'll notice it says 3 characters left there. You can't create anything any longer than it already was. So if I want to put custom story text, I have to make sure it's no longer than the original text. But you can change things here, not only story text, but you can also change things like item pickups. Picked up a stim pack, I can change that to whatever I want. So let me just say picked up I'll just say picked up poop. Why the heck not? And we'll go ahead and see whenever I pick that up in game, it'll say picked up poop. And because it's lower, it's because it's less characters than the original, it's fine. It has to be the same amount of characters or less, as we said before. So that's what strings is for mainly. Weapons actually lets you change the states, but I would recommend leaving these all alone. If you change the ammo type something uses, it can really mess up the game and cause severe glitching. So I never mess with anything in this window. I just leave this weapons thing alone. I don't bother with it. Next we have ammo. Now this one is really cool because you can change your maximum ammo. This value will be doubled whenever you pick up a backpack. So let's say if I change the maximum to 300, that'll become 600 if I get a backpack. And this pickup ammo here for bullets is 10. That means if I pick up a clip, I'll get 10 bullets. The clips dropped by enemies have half of this, so they'll only give me 5. So if I want enemies to drop 10, I'll have to change this to 20. So if you want to give the player more ammo or whatever, this is the window to do that in. Cheats is pretty self-explanatory. It allows you to change the actual things you type in to get stuff. We'll change the easiest one, IDDQD. I'll change it to Frank. So if I type Frank in game, it'll actually activate God mode. Go ahead and save that change. Miscellaneous just lets you change a few random values. You can change your maximum health, your maximum armor, all this kind of stuff. The BFG cells per shot, you can lower this to whatever you want, which is really cool. You can make monsters infight as well. If two barons usually shoot each other, they usually won't get angry at each other. When you turn this on, that means they will. So they'll become aggressive towards even ones of their same species. So that's what all these different windows on the left here mean. The main ones you're going to be using are things and states. So I've got my fire pistol action that I gave the fist on states. And I'll go ahead and make the pistol really fast too. See how normally this is 4, a duration of 4, we'll change it to 1. This is a duration of 6, we'll change it to 1. The longer the duration, the longer the animation takes to play in game. So if we change all the values to 1 for the pistol, including the little light flame, which you can see is always lit. As a side note, you can make any frame lit or not. This basically just means it'll be full bright even if you're in a dark room, which is great for things like weapon flashes or in terms of different objects. Oh, here we go, the map. The computer area map, you can see the lit thing is ticked in all of those there. So yeah, lit is useful for things that are meant to be glowing. And so now we'll have a really fast pistol since I changed the duration to be lower. We'll have a fist that whenever you punch actually fires a pistol shot. Now that fist, that's going to be unlimited ammo because as we can see here, the fist uses infinite ammo. You can't give the other guns infinite ammo or else it causes glitching. But you could put a custom gun replacing the fist that has infinite ammo and just change it to shoot whatever you want using this list of commands here. So now we'll go ahead, we want to edit our zombie man, which I've selected in the things window here. So I'm going to give him a health of 200 and I'll give him a speed of 12. I think you don't want to make anything faster than 15. I think the archvile is the fastest an enemy can realistically go before it starts glitching the game up. So that only applies to enemies. I think projectiles can be, let's see how quick. They can be about 25. That's the speed of the plasma arachnotron projectile here. Plasma or 25. BFG's 25. So that's a fast one. Rockets are 20, slightly less fast. Imp fireballs are 10, so they're really slow. So I go ahead, I would say if you want to put a projectile in, somewhere between 10 and 25, depending on how fast. Any faster, and it might start going through walls. And the same is true with enemies when you make them faster than 15. You want to be pretty conservative with your speed estimates here on your enemies. So we've got him with a high health, a high speed. Let's go ahead and make him have the same sound effects as a player. So you see the player there has 25 for pain and 57 for death. So we'll give him 25. And if you right click it, you can actually hear a preview of that sound. So that's his current death sound there. Let's copy it from the player 57. And now he makes the Doom guy scream. And you can put whatever sound you want in here. And the good thing about this is you can put custom sounds in a WAD and call those custom sounds here. So I could put sounds replacing Commander Keen's sound effects, for example, and put them here if I want an enemy that has his own unique sound effects. So let's say we don't want him to be alerted. We don't want to, it would be like a ninja enemy. He'll just won't make any sound when he's alerted. And active, that's the sound they make when they're roaming around. They'll breathe heavily. We'll go ahead and change that to 0. So now we'll have a reasonably stealthy enemy with high health and high speed. There's other stuff you can change here. If I select no gravity, that's basically the same as what cacodemons have. They have floating and no gravity. So if you want to make a flying enemy, you take the floating and no gravity thing. Some of these can cause glitching. Most of them are fine to select, but I would keep it limited to switching between like flying and non-flying for your enemies. And things like what they drop are hard-coded. So a sergeant is always going to drop a shotgun. So if you wanted to make a different enemy that dropped a shotgun, you would make him replace the sergeant. So now we have our modified zombie man who makes different sounds. He has different values here. Let's change his states as well. So you go into states, make sure you have the top thing selected so that it has every frame in the whole game there. We'll scroll down and you can see POS is for your zombie man. If you want him to walk quicker, he already has a quicker speed now in his thing. He's got a speed of 12 rather than the default of 8. But you can make them walk even faster by changing the duration of their chasing animations and things like their shooting animation as well. So if I make his duration, let's say 40 on this, he's going to look at me for ages before he actually attacks. And then it says POS attack there. I can replace this with any enemy attack. I can't use a Marines attack. Like I can't put a super shotgun here, like fire, shotgun 2, firefly. These are the player guns, gun effects, and you can't use these on enemies. What you instead want to do is use an existing enemy attack. So let's say the imp attack. That is called troop attack. The imp attack is called the troop attack in this one. So this means he'll either, see, you can see there, if I select troop attack, it'll actually tell me what it does here. Imp, fireball, shot, or scratch if at close range. So that describes, you want to make sure that you only use other enemy attacks for their attack frames. Like I said, if you use the player attack stuff, it can get pretty glitchy. So this way he'll shoot a fireball. So since I can't use player things, I can't have an enemy that shoots BFG stuff in theory. But since he's using a troop attack, I can go back to my things window and I can actually replace the imp fireball with the BFG ball. See, so there we have the imp fireball. It has a spawn and death of 97 and 99. The BFG projectile has a spawn of 115 and a death of 117. If I change the imp fireball to have those same states, 115 and 117, suddenly I can have a enemy that shoots BFG balls in the form of replaced imp fireballs. See, it says imp fireball there, but I'm actually calling the BFG states. You can see 115 is the animating states and 117 is where it dies there. So this way I can have a custom enemy that shoots different projectiles that are not normally allowed in here. The drawback of this is all my imps will shoot BFG balls now as well. So you have to be really careful when you're replacing a enemy attack. You want to make sure it's something you don't mind getting rid of. So I usually like to replace Cacodemon fireballs, and then I give the Cacodemon frame here the troop attack thing instead. Let's see, so we'll find head is the Cacodemon. You can see there it says head attack. That is going to summon a Cacodemon fireball. If I change that to troop attack, it'll fire the BFG ball now. But that means then that the Cacodemon fireball is freed up to be used however I want. So that's a really good way to get a extra attack in there and only do a minor replacement. This way you have Cacodemons that'll shoot imp fireballs and it's not the end of the world. Now you've basically got here a thoroughly customized enemy with your trooper. You can give him a custom name if you want by double clipping on him, so we'll just say troop. But it doesn't matter, you don't have to give it a custom name. That's just for you. I wouldn't make it longer. I don't know if there's any rules about it or if it'll cause any glitches, but I wouldn't make it longer than the default names, just out of convention. So we've got this guy really customized with all these different things. So let's take a look at how it looks in the game. So the way that we do this, we'll go ahead and close WhackEd. So now we're going to go ahead and take a look at the patch file we just made. So I save mine in the Doom 2 directory since that's easiest. I've got it in just C/Doom2 here. It's test.de that we just made alongside doom2.wad and doom2.exe. So it's just a nice clean little folder with Doom 2 in it. So now to make it run in vanilla, what we're going to do is look at we downloaded DeHackEd and it came with this zip. But the only thing out of all this stuff in here that we actually need is dehack.exe. So we'll go ahead and extract that to our Doom 2 directory, which also has our patch in it. And then to take a look at this, we'll have to run DosBox and play it that way. So now we're in DosBox and I've mounted my Doom 2 directory, which is where everything is. And I'm going to go ahead and type dehacked. So it says it ends in do you want to do this? You hit Y. So now I'm at the actual dehacked screen. So I hit L and I hit yes on this screen, reload original exe. And it says original exe loaded. This is why it has to be in the same folder as your Doom 2 exe. So now I just hit enter. And I can hit enter again, and I see right there test.de that we made. So I'll just go ahead and highlight that and hit enter. And it says patch red. Hit enter, and then I hit W. This creates an exe in that same folder called DoomHack. So now I can simply hit escape to quit, and I type DoomHack. So instead of typing Doom 2, or whatever, I'll type this, and from what we just did in DeHacked, I loaded test.de in, and it saved it to this. So now I hit DoomHack, and with any luck, it should have those changes we implemented. So the fist should shoot a pistol, and look at that, it sure does. The zombie men are silent. Oh, they shoot BFG balls. Alright, it looks like our changes have been implemented successfully. The pistol should be fast. Oh yeah. Got a super fast pistol now. But since they're really strong, it's not that effective. And we've got our stim pack there. It should say something about poop when we pick it up. Oh gosh. Let me just go ahead and cheat. I'll type Frank. And look at that. God mode comes on. So I'm going to type Frank again to turn it off, and I'll type IDKFA. I'll damage myself a little bit. And then I picked up the stim, picked up poop. There we go, it worked. So you can see all the little changes we made. They're shooting these imp fireballs that are actually BFG balls, and they're working as intended. My fast pistol is almost tough enough to deal with these guys, but not quite. And my fist has unlimited ammo, so I can just do it the old-fashioned way with the fist. So this is really cool. So we can see all of our mods are in place. But if you're like me, that's not quite enough. You're going to want custom graphics to go with your custom enemy. So what we're going to do now is take a look at how to define custom sprites using WhackEd. So now you need to download a program called Slade. And then this program will allow you to put custom graphics in the game. So now you just open Slade and it brings you to this window. And if you want to modify the sprites by hand, you can open doom2.wad. And you can see every single entry in the game is in here. Sounds, music, levels, and everything. And if you want to modify these sprites by hand, you can see POS here. POS A through POS U. That is all of our former human sprites. And we can go ahead and export those. You can convert them to a PNG. And then you can export them. So what you'd do is you'd click convert, and then you'd right click and go export. And you could save them as PNGs and edit them, and then re-import them using this button here, the import files button, and then convert them back to Doom format. And that way you could mod them by hand. But I already have some sprites ready. I have these here of a stormtrooper. So what you would do is you could create a new WAD archive. So here you're going to put your graphics for your new zombie man, and for me that's a stormtrooper. Now the thing is, you have to create an entry called SS_start, SS_start, and then create yet another one, just S_end. You're doing this for the sake of vanilla compatibility. You'll have to put all your custom sprites in between those two markers. So you click copy and paste, or you could import them using this button from your modified Sergeant sprites or whatever. But yeah, this is the way that you do it. So we'll create this as test. So we had test.deh, so we'll call this test.wad. There we go. So now we have our custom stormtrooper sprites. The thing is though, they're not really in position where they need to be. You'll highlight every single one of these by holding shift, and then you click modify GFX offsets. And automatic offsets for a monster, you click OK. And now all of these are actually going to be where they belong as graphics. So you can click save on that. We'll just open it again to take a look. And look at that, all of our graphics are right in the right place there. That little line represents where the ground is and where the sprite meets the ground. And this line here is the center. So you can see they're all well lined up for the game now. They splat in place and everything. So we've got our custom graphics. The thing is, we can't use these in Vanilla Doom, because if you replace just a few graphics in Vanilla Doom, the engine freaks out. Sprites specifically. So what you have to do is come up with a new name for these. So you'd select them all at once. Every single thing that has this amount of characters you select, and you can rename them all. Rename, and this way we can say, so instead of POS, we'll just type STRM for Stormtrooper. And then this way, they've all been renamed. And now for these ones here that have a longer name, we'll select all of them now and rename them as well. You have to rename them in 2 separate batches, because if you try to rename them all at once, the names will be shortened for these longer ones here. So this is the best way to do that. So again, you right click and go rename, and we'll do STRM. Okay, so now we have SS start at the beginning, all of our graphics, and S end at the end. And now you can add other stuff as well, like music, but you'd have to import any custom lumps after the S end mark. You have to have your sprites first in the WAD. So now we'll go ahead and save that, and we'll close Slade, and we'll go back to WhackEd 4, and we'll go to our test.de. So here you can see we have our Stormtrooper. It still has the POS graphics, so it's the normal zombie man from Doom. So what we want to do is go into strings, wherever that may be, there it is, and we'll find POS. You scroll down, it's somewhere near the bottom. And here are all of our sprite names. So in here, we want to go ahead and change POS to STRM so it matches up with our WAD. And then we'll go ahead and save that, and we can go to patch settings and add our test WAD so that way it knows to look for the right graphics. So we can hit OK. Now when we look at our trooper, it's STRM. So the POS was replaced with STRM, and now he actually has all of his Stormtrooper graphics. So now we can go ahead and save that and close it. And we'll go back into DosBox at this point. Okay, so we've got our C drive mounted at Doom 2. We'll type DeHacked once again to load DeHacked. And we hit L. We hit Y to reload the original data. Hit enter. Load and test. Since we just edited this in WhackEd 4, we need to load the new version that we just modified in DeHacked. So we hit enter here, and it's red. We'll hit enter again. W to write it, and then escape. Now we type Doom hack, and since we made test.wad, we do file test.wad. And this will, Doom hack loads the mods that we just did, and file test will load the test WAD that has our Stormtrooper sprites in it. Alright, let's see. Do we have Stormtroopers? We certainly do. Look at them there. Yep, we have BFG shooting Stormtroopers now. And now they really feel like custom enemies because they have their own graphics. And it loads perfectly in Vanilla Doom, which is just what we wanted. Now there's one last thing you need to do if you want to make it so you can play this in all the other source ports out there. So what you'll need to do now is go back into Slade, go back into your WAD where you have your Stormtrooper graphics, and create a new entry that's right here, and you call it DeHacked. It has to be after the S end marker, so you put that there. So now you'd click on DeHacked, right click it, and click import, and you'll select test.de, and that'll load your de in there. And now your DeHacked file in your actual WAD is saved in there as well. So you can close Slade. And what this means is you can double click it and play it in any source port. So you would package it, you'd send it out to people with test.wad and .de, but that de is just there for Vanilla Doom and Chocolate Doom. If you're using like Xandronum or GZDoom like I am, you can just double click it now and it should work. And of course, you can see you got your stormtroopers and all your custom behavior now working in a modern source port. So this way you can make mods that'll work in both vanilla Doom and in source ports. And yeah, it's really universally compatible. You can create graphics and stuff. If you have any questions about this tutorial, I know it's a lot to take in. Please feel free to ask. There's also a lot of tutorials on places like Doom World and stuff. So yeah, I hope this helps you out and gives you a beginning to making your own DeHackEd Doom mods.